The Wolverines come up short against Penn State 31-24 on Saturday, and you can say it was one play here, one play there, but really, Coach Moeller, it was a lot of plays spread out over the entire game. Things that you should have done probably a little better that didn't do that cost, ultimately.
No question about that, Jim. And as you say, every play counts, and you got to make certain that you're playing on every play. Let's set the record straight. First of all, we played a very fine Penn State team. We got a good team, too. I wanted to win this game. We should have won this game, but we got to give them credit because they are good. There's no question about that. But the thing that football gets down to, like I tell you all the time, you must rush the football, and you got to stop the rush. The passing's fine, but you got to run the ball.
And the thing I think it was bothersome to you defensively is you really missed some tackles. You shouldn't. That was a disappointment to you that you didn't execute defensively.
Carter is a fine back, Jim. Let's give him some credit. He's going to break up some. He's going to break a few tackles here, not like he did today. And then a couple times we didn't do a good job defending the pass here. They catch us on a swing pass here for a big gainer. And you can't do that against good teams.
This is their first possession, and they move the ball right down the field, but can't score. You force them into a field goal, which I know you were pleased with.
Right. There's no question. We knew they were going to move the ball. I said, keep them out of the end zone. If they kick it and make it, fine. Then we get the ball after a penalty on a kickoff, and we drive some 90 yards and get down there, and we miss a field goal. But here, Todd does a good job getting the ball to Monty. Biaka-Batuka up inside for about 13 yards. And we get it down there, Jim. We start on our own 4, and we take it clear down to their 9, and we settle it would be a field goal, and we hit the upright. Remy's kicked extremely well, and you don't want to say it, but, you know, at times those things are going to happen. You still got to be big enough to overcome them.
He just took that a little bit, and then they go back, and again, this is the point where you got to stop the run, and another missed tackle, right. Gains 5 more yards after the hit.
Right, and the clock keeps moving, and they eat the time up. And basically what happened in the first quarter, we had the ball just that one possession. They just controlled the clock on us.
This Collins for them is a pretty good quarterback, too. He's done some good things, and he hit receivers right on the numbers.
Right, I think he made some bad throws in there at times, but he is a good quarterback. He knew what he was doing, their attack, and they caught the ball well. Here they fake us out and just throw the ball over the middle to an open tight end and go up 10-0.
10-0 at that point, and you're just out of the first quarter, so you go to the second quarter. Here's a fumble by Biaka-Batuka that will come into play later as the Penn State player actually steals the ball from him.
Right.
And it will come into play later because Michigan does the same thing, and it's not called a fumble by the officials, which was a missed call by them. Then we go back, and Penn State gets the ball back. Collins goes to their big tight end.
Right, Brady's a fine receiver, a big kid, as you see here. He's hard to bring down. We knew he would get some things. Underneath those things, Jim, aren't going to kill you.
This is what bothers you. This is
right here. You got everybody pinned inside, and there Carter is going running down the sideline.
Then you go, you finally figure out the swing pass, 3rd and long, but you got people over there.
Right, Steve Morrison comes over and does a good job, and that gets them under control a little bit. Again, they settle after we fumble the ball. I give our defense credit here. Well, I didn't like that sweep, but at least they keep them out of the end zone. We didn't do a good job here, and then later we drop a pass, and so we're forced to punt, and we give them the ball inside our 50.
And then they go to the tight end and get a big play out of them. They get them down inside your 20. But again, the defense really stiffens. Here's a 3rd and 1, and Morrison makes a great play over the top.
Big play by Steve Morrison, and again, we hold them to a field goal. It looks dismal here, 16-0. And I really haven't lost a lot of confidence, Jim. I just think we got to get our hands on the ball. We got to stop their rushing game.
You come down late in the half. You're still trailing 16-0. You get some big plays here.
Right, right here, Todd goes back to pass. He scrambles up the middle, gets us in decent field position. They're spearing him there. They get a penalty. Then we roll out and execute a fine play. We hit Mercury Hayes on the sideline. Remy comes in and kicks a field goal, and that was really a big series. These 3 points here, I think it gives us a little lift. Not a tremendous amount, but we got some points. And the other thing, it reduced the deficit to under 2 touchdowns, which we later come back, score 2, and go ahead.
It's 16-3 at halftime because you got those 3 points. You're feeling like with the adjustments you can make at halftime, you're feeling like, hey, you know, this is going to work. We got this game still within our grasp.
Right, and we got to get the ball away from them. We can't let them have the ball, and we got to have opportunities, and we got to start rushing the football. determined Tyrone Wheatley in the second half. We'll see made some big runs, and he had a couple, 3 runs in there, Jim, were just outstanding, and you got to give him a lot of credit for that. But again, an overcommitting defense. I think part of the problem here early was the fact that they had put in some new things for us that we adjusted to, but not as well as we should have in that first half.
Took a while for the Wolverines to adjust to some of the new things Penn State put in. They had the 2 weeks to prepare for the Wolverines. We'll be back, take a look at the second half of this Michigan-Penn State Classic as Michigan Replay continues. Wolverines trailing 16-3 at half, and you come out in the second half and really get after them. And the adjustments from what they were doing differently to you defensively seem to work.
Right, and I think their overcommitted defense here and some of the things that they did. In the second play, Wheatley breaks up in here and turns it on right there, and there's no one left, Jim. And those are some of the things we didn't handle in the first half, and we broke one. And those things are going to happen when they overcommit. You've got to have a guy who can come up with a big play, and Tyrone did.
That makes it 16-10 at that point. And then they get into second 19. They hit Brady, but you're defending the pass to the tight end a little better.
Right, we're in here, and I think it was Deion Johnson come up and made a big tackle on a second and 19, and so that gives us an opportunity. We come right back, get down here, and then Todd delivers to Monty, hits him on a strike. We pick up 30 yards, and we're mixing it up a little bit, but I still like to control it on the ground. Then Wheatley here does another good job. We
good blocks by your outside receivers.
Great blocks by Merck and Amani there, and gets Wheatley the other. Here's what Tyrone did better, stayed in bounds. You got to stay in bounds. He lowered that shoulder. He really, our kids were very emotional here, and you see 2 straight times we go down there, then we go ahead.
Gives you the 17-16 lead, but they come back in their next possession and move the ball, and here's a reverse.
Right, a reverse is sometimes going to get some yardage, and if it gets 10, that's one thing. You can't give it 30 yards. I mean, you can't have 30 yards and breaking tackles.
For the most part, throughout the game, Ingram, their big play wide receiver, didn't hurt you, but late in the game he did, and then they come with a draw, and Kajana Carter running through tackles again.
Right, he got 13 there. Then they come back and they hit Brady here on a blitz. We had the guy covered. Collins for them did a good job getting the ball to their big tight end.
They come back here and throw a little swing pass again to their fullback. That's a great throw over the top of Trevor Price. Then they go for 2 and get it on a semi-controversial call over in the end zone.
Right, they come back and he looks off and he throws in the corner of the end zone. Again, we got a guy up there in the flat, should have been back.
And that gives Penn State the 24-17 lead. We go to the fourth quarter now, and you roll Todd Collins out and get a great play from Amani Toomer here.
Right, a great play from Todd. Amani's got a guy on his back, still makes the catch, but Todd under pressure delivered downfield, made a big play there.
4th and goal.
Right, I felt we had to go for it here, Jim. Sometimes you like to kick, but Tamunga went over and tied the game up. Again, they were offsides on the play, so we would have got a repeat there.
Their next possession, they start coming back. They're able to hit Scott down the sideline. And it looks like right now the last team that's going to have the ball is going to be the winner. Now, here's the play that should have been called a fumble that wasn't. Same thing as Bianca Batuka earlier.
You're right, Jim. Right there, Winters just takes the ball right away from him. They claimed that his knee was down, but obviously it wasn't.
Nonetheless, they give Penn State the ball. They don't get any points out of that possession. You come back, and on a 3rd down, blitz off the corner. Smith, he made problems for you late. Then they come back with the football.
Right, we had a blown assignment there on the pass protection. Then they come back here and, I don't know, they throw a ball to the sideline and it's called complete for a big pickup at 10 to keep the drive alive.
That was controversial because it didn't look like he had his feet in bounds. And then they come back with Kajana Carter, big run up the middle, and that's the thing that hurt, again, the big runs against your defense.
Right, big plays. When you get plays that go over 15 yards, then you're having trouble. And here we have a safety out of position. They hit a pass. Some of these things, Jim, and I don't want to sound like we're belly aching or anything else. That's a good football team, too, and they executed some things, and they're going to make some progress. Here's a great run by Tyrone. This is an outstanding run. These are the things you expect of Tyrone Wheatley, and a couple occasions here he delivered them today.
Then you get into a 3rd down, 4th and 1, and get a problem with a blitz bringing you up, and you have to throw the interception here. And That sealed the game for Penn State.
Right, I think they had double coverage on a guy that Todd wanted to go to here, and then we tried to throw late in the flat because it was 4th and 1. You got to force a play like that.
Our Norwegian Cruise Line play of the week from Tyrone Wheatley, the big 67-yard touchdown run to open the second half. He got down the sideline. This is a big play that you need when you're in trouble.
Oh, no, there's no question about it. And you expect those things sometimes because you're getting shut down sometimes at the line of scrimmage running the ball. If you break that plane because the extra defender's in there, then something big can happen.
The one question a lot of people had after the game, you're 3rd and inches on that last possession. Was there miscommunication? Something happened from the sideline to Todd Collins?
Well, we were going to try to run it a little differently than we did, but what happened is all we had to do was get Tumunga in there for a couple feet, which we thought we could do on that thing, and probably bring it the other way. If you have to, you break a tackle and go in. But that one in the 4th and 1, we didn't execute, and we didn't give Todd the time.
The game, obviously very disappointing and very frustrating for you because there were little things that were wrong, missed assignments, things that may not be real visible to the fan watching the game that really cost you the opportunity to win that game on Saturday against Penn State. And that's maybe the most frustrating thing for you. You said it going into the beginning of the week. You got to play well to beat a good team.
Oh, you got to, Jim. And some of those things that you did poorly, it's because you're playing a good team. You just can't have a numbers of them. And it gets down to 2 things. It's possession of the clock, which they beat us by 5 minutes. We have to rush the ball better and control the clock, okay? And we can't allow them to hang on to the football forever. Big plays, again, creep up in there. Now you get down to turnovers. We have a takeaway, they have a takeaway, they get a fumble on us. Makes a great deal of difference in your time of possession, your clock time, and where you're starting out. We had to do things better. You had to give them credit. That is a fine football team. But I'll tell you one thing, we could never be satisfied with the way we played today.
That's it. You can't be satisfied, and probably the Wolverines won't. They'll get back at them next week. Don't go away. We got a great-looking feature coming up on seats at
another